Hello, this is GeotechLand, and today I'll be playing F0GX. And I'm going to do things a little bit differently from now on, and one of those is that instead of playing just on Dolphin version 5.0, the stable edition, I'll be playing on the Dolphin development versions. Biggest reason is that has Vulkan featured, and pretty much Vulkan is really now the better API compared to Direct3D 11. You guys mostly won't see a difference between the two unless you start cranking up the anti-aliasing, but it is the better API now. It might be buggy, a bit buggier in the sense that I did notice that on playing on this 4K TV, if I scale or leave the scaling at 100%, for some reason when I turn on VSync, it just tries to load every game at 30 frames per second. And so if I'm playing something like Super Mario Sunshine, that wouldn't be a problem. If I start playing Double Dash, which this game runs at 60 frames per second, it'll try to run it at 30, and so I guess that's kind of bug here. And not sure if it's the drivers or the Dolphin version, but that happens. So right now I am playing at 175% scaling, and that I can play with VSync on, so there's no screen tearing. There isn't much screen tearing anymore, but I still kind of like to keep it on. And so that allows me, the other benefit of that is that the FPS that you'll see on the top left will be a bit more clear. I think on my last video or so it was really hard to see that. So here are my settings here. I have anisotropic filtering on at 16x, 6x native resolution for 4K. I don't mess with this here. The hacks is like this. I don't mess with these things either. And so let's get started. As you can see, it's running the Vulkan backend there. Yeah, this is the Euro version, so that's why it asked me to select 60 or 50. And I'm playing Novice, and one thing when I was playing this, I thought, I was like, man, this game's pretty hard. One little bump here can take you from second place to 10th place. But as I was testing this, I had tried recording this earlier. I ran into an issue, but when I tried recording it, during recording I realized that if I press triangle here, at least on the PS4 controller, you could actually use boost. Still haven't figured out exactly what triggers that boost, or how do I get boost if it's available after maybe the second or the first lap. But however, yeah, so I should be getting pretty good at this now. So this whole time I was playing and trying to get first place without using boost, and I was starting to get pretty close. And so I feel like I'm a pro at this game now, just because now I discovered boost here. And the thing that made me realize that is, I did notice that when I was in a section where there was no boost, I would notice a vehicle just pass me. And I was just like, how did it just pass me? And so I finally got curious and started pressing buttons, and I discovered boost. Biggest reason why I didn't even try really pressing any other buttons is that these games start out pretty competitively, and so I was kind of afraid of messing up, because you do only get a very small margin of error here. And so I was just kind of afraid to do anything. I really was just focused on the performance more than anything, really. and so now I'm kicking butt, it seems. I was also testing this game on Ubuntu using the Mesa drivers, also on Vulkan, and the game's running pretty good. On Ubuntu I was running it at first I was running games using Ubuntu 1604.3, and on Vulkan at least I was getting a lot of screen tearing, not even just on the 4K TV but also just even before this on my 1080p monitor. And so I was getting a lot of screen tearing with Vulkan. I noticed on OpenGL for some reason wouldn't run, at least on the development versions for Ubuntu. And so then I switched to Ubuntu 17.10. I didn't know that you can use the Mesa drivers to run anything with the AMD GPU. I thought I pretty much had to rely on AMD's own proprietary drivers. Well, I should mention I did kind of know you could run, but I was kind of intimidated by messing around with Mesa drivers. It just looked a lot more complicated than I thought it was. And I had been hearing that AMD's drivers were pretty good, so I was like, yeah, I'll just stick with the official. Okay, I just realized I got what place did I get second. But anywho, yeah, I guess I started running these Dolphin benchmarks with Direct3D 11 on 5.0. Now I've moved on to Vulkan, and my end goal is to start, benchmarking using Ubuntu and Vulkan. But with 17.10, I'm getting different glitches. No longer getting screen tearing, but I am getting it kind of freezes for like a second. I guess, no, it's actually more like stuttering. Although it doesn't show like a dip in the frames per second, but it's just this weird, I don't know if I want to call it a bug, that when I turn around or just every now and then it'll like stutter. And obviously on Windows here, it runs pretty good, except for like differences in scaling and VSync. Yeah, this game runs pretty good, and if it ever does come to the point where I start benchmarking in Ubuntu with Vulkan and you guys are kind of sticking with Windows, usually the way you should take the benchmarks from then on is that if it works on Ubuntu with Vulkan, then it'll very likely work fine with Direct3D 11 in Windows. I've never really had any issue running anything on Direct3D Windows, so you can take it as that. But who knows, maybe Vulkan will get so good that things will just start running better in Vulkan. But honestly, if it runs good on Vulkan Windows, on Vulkan Ubuntu, then Vulkan Windows at least should be okay, if not less buggier. Anyways, back to this game here. Yeah, this is pretty much the level that I started sucking at, just because it was crashing a lot when I was testing it on Ubuntu. So this is where I would stop. So I would test the first two levels, they'd be running great. And then when I get to this level, it would start going down to like 30 frames per second. Oh crap, I should have been using boost. But anyway, so it'll start going down to 30 frames per second, so I would just stop. So I'm usually much better in the first two levels. And I shouldn't worry, I'm still in first place. Yeah, I did want to say this game's pretty addicting. I'm almost disappointed I hadn't played this before. Before I had discovered boosts, I was saying this needs some more weapons and power-ups. I guess we have boosts, but I would have liked to see at least some weapons and a lot less cars too. Not cars, but I guess jets, vehicles. And one thing too that I don't like is racing games suck if there's too many cars. Kind of discovered that with playing Mario Kart Wii. Just having so many vehicles, you're just always constantly getting attacked by everyone. In this case, you're always getting bumped, and this is a game where if you get bumped, that really like affects where you're gonna end up here. It's very sensitive, very low margin of error. So yeah, it looks like when I start the second lap, I do start getting access to the boost here. Okay, so this does replenish boost. I was trying to guess how it was getting the boost, and I was thinking, alright, that red platform is giving me boost, but I guess it only happens after the second level. I'm gonna go full throttle here. Why not red? Look at all that boost I have. I need to recover this. That's pretty much once I pass that red platform, I should just go ham on the boost. Like, go ham like there's no tomorrow. Go ham like I just don't care. Oh yeah. With all that boost, it's way easier. I was wondering, I'm playing Novice, and how am I not getting first? It seems very difficult, but it's just no boost. This last level is actually my favorite level. I got first place here. And I was not using boost at the time, so that's pretty impressive. Playing pretty smooth now. Okay, never mind. Just bumped into the road. Look at this guy's right on my tail here. My strategy for this level is I should use up all the boost. Guess I'm overheating. Oh crap. It's a big old bump there. So how do I like stop overheating? Oh wow. That was pretty cool. Just flew up there. Hope I don't overheat again. I think I should take the cake here. Because here it's just pretty straightforward. Awesome, first place. That was a struggle. Well, you guys saw this game runs at full speed, 60 frames per second, and I was recording at 1080p, 60 frames per second, so it's pretty damn smooth. There you guys have it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.